Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm starting a new series where I solve Leetcode questions using Swift. I came across this Leetcode 75. It's supposed to be 75 essential questions to preparing for interviews. As you can see here in the summary, 75 essentials and trending problems. So I figured to solve this list with you guys. So let's start with the first one. Merge strings alternately. Let's analyze this question. Alright, you are given two strings, word 1 and word 2. Merge the strings by adding letters in alternate order, starting with word 1. If a string is longer than the other, append the additional letters onto the end of the merged string and return the merged string. It seems pretty straightforward, right? We have two words, let's say, as you can see here in the example, ABC, and we have another word, PQR. We just create a new string in this fashion, right? Merging the strings together, alternating the letters. And if we have a string longer than the other, let's say if here we have like X, Y, Z, we just take the remaining, and add to the end of the string. In this case, we're gonna have the result strings A, B, B, Q, C, R, and then add this to the end, right? X, Y, Z. One thing to notice in this problem is that any word can be longer than the other. So there's some cases that the word 1 is longer, and then other cases that word 2 is longer. Alright, let's think about how we can solve this. So we will need a counter, right? And the result. And the result should be a string, right? It's a variable. This is a variable. Alright, so we need to loop through the length of the smaller string, right? So we're gonna use a while loop and check. I'm gonna loop while the counter is less than the length of the word 1, and the counter is also less than the length of the word 2, right? And here you can do everything we need, right? So we're gonna take the result and add this letter. The current letter should be the word 1, right? Word 1, and we're gonna select the letter, right? And also the word 2, we're gonna access the letter as well, right? So what's happening here? The I in the first case is 0, so I'm taking the first letter of the word 1 and taking the first letter of the word 2 and putting and adding to the result string, which is an empty string for the first case, right? Then I'm gonna increase the counter, right? This loop is gonna end on the smaller one, right? So after we loop through this, we need to add the end of the larger string to the result. So when we finish the loop, we're gonna have the result, and we're gonna access both finishes. Word 1, we're gonna access something like this. This is not the correct syntax for Swift. Actually, in Swift, we're gonna use something called drop first. What drop first does is taking, let's say we have the string A, B, C. If I say drop first two, it's gonna drop these first two letters and return just C. Alright, so if I have the counter here, which is the end of the smaller word, everything beyond that is the remaining, right? So I'm gonna pass in the I here to the drop first of the word 1 and also of the word 2, because I don't know which one is larger, right? We don't know which one is larger, so I'm gonna take the word 2 as well. Drop first I. Okay, so I think we can code this now. Let's go to the editor. Alright, let's start with the counter. Variable I equals 0, and we need the result, right? What? Which is gonna be the, an empty string, right? So the while loop check if I is less than word1.count, right? And I should be less than word2.count, right? And we should loop through adding the letters to the result, right? So I'm using a string here because when we access a string, it returns a character. So I'm kind of typecasting here to a string, right? That's why I'm putting inside a string here. So word 1 access I, and word 2 access I, okay? And then when we increase the loop. But you know one thing? This is not gonna work. Why? Because you can't subscript a string using an integer here, alright? It's not like in other programming languages like Python or any other. To subscript a string and access the letter, I need to create a string index, right? So I'm gonna create here a string index. Let's call it index, and the type is gonna be string dot index, right? And here I'm gonna create, or better, I'm gonna set the index with the current counter number, right? So the syntax here is UTF 160 offset, and I'm pass the I in word 1, right? Here I can pass any one of these words because I'm just creating an index. What matters here is the I. Okay, so here instead of pass the I, I'm passing the index. Okay, all right. And after we finish everything, we loop through every single one of the smaller word. We need to add the remaining, right? So result, we're gonna add word 1, drop first and pass the I, and add also the word 2, drop first and pass the I as well, okay? And finally return the result. Okay, it's looking pretty good to me. Let's see here. I'll need to close here. Okay, I don't need this. Let's run to see how it goes. Okay, we have some error here. Drop, oh, here, drop first. There's no autocomplete here, right? What else? String index UTF on 60 offset. Not on 60, it's 16 offset. Let's run again. Okay, looks like everything is working. Let's submit to see how it goes. Okay, you see here, it's a very efficient solution. See here, it beats 93% of the Swift submissions. You see, one thing that makes it so efficient is that this drop first here is O1 time complexity, right? This is O1 time complexity, and here I'm just looping n times, where n is the length of the smaller word, right? So it's basically On, where n is the smaller word. Okay, yeah, I think we pretty much set here. Yeah, of course there is many solutions to the same problem. Maybe you can come up with something even better than this, but this is the solution I came up with. And that's it for today, guys. Let me know in the comments if you solve a different way, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.